The moment my stepmom looked at me during my high school graduation and said, "Your money is ours now," I felt my chest tighten as if the world had just pulled the ground from beneath me. My dad had passed away 2 years earlier, and before he died, he made sure I'd have a college fund to pursue my dreams. He believed in education, in my potential, in the kind of life he wanted me to build. That fund wasn't just money. It was his last promise to me. So, hearing her say those words wasn't just cruel. It was like she'd taken the last part of him away from me. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who was supposed to protect you, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because what happened next turned my pain into one of the most satisfying revenges you'll ever hear. After graduation, I went home and found that everything my dad had left me, his savings, my college account, even some of his personal items, had been reorganized, as my stepmom put it. She told me it was for my own good, that I wasn't ready to handle money. But it didn't take long for me to realize the truth. She and her son, my stepbrother, had drained the account completely. When I confronted them, they didn't even try to hide it. My stepmom smirked and said it was compensation for all the years she had to raise me. My stepbrother laughed, adding that I should be grateful they didn't throw me out sooner. I was 18, legally an adult, and suddenly broke with no way to pay for college. I remember the silence in my room that night. I stared at the old photo of my dad and me, his arm over my shoulder, his smile calm and proud. I promised him then and there that I would make something of myself, with or without them. And one day, I would make sure they regretted every cruel thing they'd ever said. For the next few years, life wasn't easy. I worked part-time jobs, slept in a small apartment I could barely afford, and took classes at a community college instead of the university I'd dreamed of. Every dollar I made went into saving for something bigger. Every insult, every memory of my stepmom's smug face became fuel. I studied business, worked nights in tech support, and learned coding on the side. Slowly, my skills grew. One evening, after yet another long shift, I got an idea that would change everything. I'd noticed how small businesses struggled with managing their online customer systems. I started developing a simple software solution, something affordable, scalable, and easy to use. It wasn't fancy at first, but I believed in it. I pitched it to a local business owner who loved it and paid me a small amount to use it. That first deal was small, but it was enough to light a spark. Over the next few years, I built that idea into a company. I hired a small team, reinvested every cent, and pushed myself harder than ever. By my late 20s, that small startup had grown into a multi-million-dollar business. We specialized in software automation for growing companies, and big clients started calling. Every time I signed a contract, I thought of my dad, and of the people who told me I'd never make it. Then, one day, karma handed me the perfect opportunity. My stepmom and stepbrother had fallen on hard times. My stepbrother had tried to start his own business but failed miserably. They'd lost their home, and word spread that they were looking for buyers for one of the last properties they owned, the very house I grew up in. I checked the listings and couldn't help but smile. It was being sold through a third party, and I knew exactly what I had to do. I sent my lawyer to handle everything quietly. The deal went through within a month. When the paperwork was finalized, I was the legal owner of my childhood home, the same place where they'd kicked me out. Without a dime. A few weeks later, they received the official eviction notice. My stepmom called me, panicking, not realizing who she was talking to. She begged for time, saying the new owner was heartless. I kept my voice calm and professional. I told her I understood, but business was business. When she finally realized who she was talking to, there was a long silence on the line. Then, I heard her voice tremble for the first time. "You," she said softly, "it's you." "Yeah," I replied, "it's me. The kid you said didn't deserve his father's money. The one you tried to break." I told her she had 2 weeks to move out. No more, no less. When I drove up to the house that final day, she and my stepbrother were standing outside with their boxes. My stepbrother glared at me, but there was no fight left in him. My stepmom tried to speak, maybe to apologize, maybe to justify, but I didn't give her the chance. I just looked around, taking in the house that held so many memories, good and bad, and then walked past them without a word. The house was mine again, but the victory wasn't about the property. It was about closure. A few months later, I renovated the place and turned it into an office for a local youth scholarship program. Every year since, I've helped students who can't afford college, kids like I once was. Because my revenge wasn't just about taking back what they stole. It was about making sure no one else had to feel the helplessness I did. When people ask me if I ever forgave them, I usually smile and say I didn't need to. Life already took care of that. My stepmom moved into a small apartment after losing everything, and my stepbrother bounced from job to job. Meanwhile, I built the life they swore I'd never have. Sometimes, karma doesn't show up right away. It waits, it watches, and when the time is right, it hits harder than anyone could imagine. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me in the comments what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, because trust me, sometimes, the best revenge is just living the life they said you couldn't.